Dalton Highway. Alaska at times can seem like the final frontier. With 425 million acres of sprawling land, Alaska is the largest but least populated of the United States. Due to its large size and low population density, Alaska is one of the last places in the United States with untouched wilderness and completely intact habitat. But it's also home to one of the loneliest, most solitary roads on Earth, Alaska Route 11, aka Dalton Highway. It was built in 1974 as a supply route for the Trans-Alaska Pipeline System. The highway runs parallel to that pipeline system, and despite its bleak, isolated, and remote setting, it's often navigated by anything up to 150 trucks in summer and 250 trucks in the winter. Linking Fairbanks and oil fields to the north, huge trucks are its main traffic. Because of these trucks and often extreme conditions, there are 8 actual road rules for Dalton Highway. The U.S. Department of the Interior, Bureau of Land Management, drafted 8 strict rules. Big trucks have the right of way. Always drive with your headlights on. Keep your headlights and taillights clean. Stay on the right side of the road. Don't stop for bridges or hills. Check your rearview mirror regularly. If you spot wildlife, pull over to a safe spot before stopping. Slow down when passing other vehicles to lessen the chances of hitting them with mud or flying rocks from your tires. Yeah, Dalton Highway sounds pretty intense. Portions of this highway may be temporarily closed due to road work or inclement weather. Traveling this farthest north road involves real risks and challenges, and it can be dangerous because the highway is essentially just a gravelly road, reduced to zero visibility, enormous potholes, and extreme Arctic weather. Services are available at only a few places along this highway, so proper planning is essential. There are no public services at the Department of Transportation maintenance stations or Alaska pipeline service pump stations. This isolated highway was built as a supply road to support oil exploration in Alaska. There are just 3 towns along this route with a total population of 60 people, so when you're hitting the Dalton Highway, you are truly on your own. Number 6. Tiananmen Highway. Looking like Snake Way come to life, the Tiananmen Highway runs for 6.8 miles, beginning at just 656 feet above sea level, and winds its way 4,265 feet above sea level. At the top is the Heaven Gate, a natural rock arch that was believed to be the link between the gods and the mortal world. There are also 999 stairs to climb before you reach the peak. The road is as gorgeous as it is intense, as harrowing as it is divine. But for something with such an ancient feel, the road is relatively new. Construction of this road started in 1998 and opened to the public in 2006. The rhythmically winding sections appear to be stacked on top of one another as a testament not to the gods, but instead to human ingenuity. With its 99 steep turns, the road is an exhilarating driving experience. There's a lot of curves to tackle, with only a few feet separating you from a deadly plunge down the slope. Number 5. Karakoram Highway. One of the most well-known roads in the world, the Karakoram Highway goes on for about 800 miles and links China and Pakistan. The road is also referred to as the Friendship Highway. Oh, nice. The road has earned international fame over the years, with some even referring to it as the 8th wonder of the world because of the difficulties the workers faced in constructing it, as well as the fact that it's one of the highest highways in the world. A section of the road goes through the Karakoram Mountains at a height of 15,466 feet. Construction of this highway began in 1959 and lasted for nearly 3 decades. During that time, roughly 810 workers from Pakistan and 82 workers from China died during the construction because of landslides. Even to this day, however, traveling here isn't for the faint of heart. Some sections must be cleared and repaired regularly as those perilous rock slides continue to rock the region. Sometimes they even need to be rebuilt when parts of the road disappear. And then there's the fighting. Owing largely to the extremely sensitive state of the Kashmir conflict between India and Pakistan, the Karakoram Highway has strategic and military importance too. In 2010, a part of the road was submerged due to a landslide in the Hunza Valley. In 2015, the damaged road was replaced with the construction of a masterpiece known as the Addabad Lake Tunnel. The 8th wonder of the world clearly comes with plenty of dangers. It's battered by rockfall, floods, and earthquakes, and with some calling it the scariest road in the world. The drive isn't easy. Not advisable to take plain old cars. A sturdy 4x4 vehicle is the weapon of choice when making a long journey here. The road is extremely treacherous and requires a vehicle that can hold its own against some of the most unforgiving terrain in the world. Hairpin curves and potential steep falls of thousands of feet on the left side, and a very unstable mountain with a high risk of rock falls, especially when raining, on the right side. With absolutely no barrier on one side and a sheer rock wall on the other, the margin of driver error is so slim you can barely see it with the naked eye. And if the rock falls don't get you, then the floods and landslides will. The road's so narrow in parts that only one vehicle can pass at a time, while the other waits on the very narrow edge of the road. And because the road sits at such high altitudes, travelers prone to altitude sickness need not apply. Number 4. Trollstigen. Opened in 1936, Trollstigen is said to be one of Norway's twistiest roads. It's got a steep incline of 9% with 11 hairpin bends as it snakes its way along the steep mountainside at its highest point, Stigrora, at an elevation of 2,811 feet above sea level. The road brutally twists and turns through the mountainous terrain, and drivers can expect rock falls, narrow lanes, steep inclines, and unpredictable weather. The route is at its most dangerous in the dark and wet, which makes it incredibly challenging to navigate. In fact, maybe that's when it's best to avoid it entirely. But the thing about danger is that it often yields the highest rewards. The 11 magnificent hairpin turns of Trollstigen offer numerous highlights of fantastic scenery along the mountain road. Each bend has its own name, often named after the person who supervised the construction work on that particular section. Trollstigen, or the Troll Path, runs for 31 miles and takes about 2 hours to complete. No speeding here. The road is known as Norway's Golden Route, and it's the most visited tourist road in the entire country. This trollish masterpiece of engineering sits in the midst of a majestic natural landscape and will make the drive a truly joyful ride. Driving Trollstigen is a dramatic and exciting experience. The road twists and climbs through a mountainous terrain of waterfalls, fjords, tunnels, and frozen lakes that you won't find anywhere else. The bends and curves stand as a testament to the skill of the builders, built upon the base rock of the steep mountainsides or hewn by hand into the mountain itself. For several centuries, the road was an important transport artery between Valldal and Endosnes, first as a path and then as a bridleway. The construction began in 1916 and it opened in 1936 by King Haakon VII. So what took so long? Why 20 years? Well, the absurdly long winters of Norway made it nearly impossible to get any work done. Before the Trollstigen, farmers on both sides of the mountain had worked hard on the construction and improvement of the cart track that existed before the road opened. You can also actually still see parts of the original packhorse track in some places alongside the current road. So if you thought making this troll trek in a car was tough, just imagine doing it with a horse-drawn cart. Number 3. The Air Highway. With a population of just over 26 million people, Australia is the 55th most populated country on Earth. Many of those people live in the highly dense cities, leaving the more rural areas of the continent incredibly remote. The Australian outback can be a lonely place, and